Hello everybody and welcome to Straight Talk on Social Media. This is Ian Desher, Digital Marketing Specialist from Pivot Group, talking to you now on what promises to be a lovely Friday and Saturday before the rain starts again here in Portland on Easter. Reminder as we get started, I always forget to say this, but I won't this time. In your GoToWebinar control panel, there is a box for asking questions, so if you have any questions that you want to ask over the course of the webinar, please feel free to do so. Today we're going to be talking about email marketing and social media, but before we do that, let's jump into a few news items from the last couple of weeks. Last week, Foursquare held its annual Foursquare Day, is what they call it. Foursquare is the local check-in service that offers deals and things like that. And on Foursquare Check-in Day, they had over 3 million people check in for this special event day. And Foursquare Day was doing things like collecting food and donating money to Japan disaster victims, giving money to the Red Cross, the Humane Society, and other places that do good. So the news there is just the 3 million people that took advantage of that, and I'll talk about what that means in just a minute. Just a couple of days ago, I don't know if you saw this, but President Barack Obama had a town hall that was held at Facebook in the Facebook headquarters. And the idea, as you can see, this was what my screen looked like when I tuned in. You can see that the video was streaming live, and over on the right-hand side there was this Ask a Question button, and you could also share what was going on with other people on Facebook. Supposedly, now again, I say supposedly people could ask questions here because there was some criticism afterward, some users saying that the button had been sort of pointless because although thousands of people asked questions, only a few questions were actually posed to the president during the town hall. Some of them were from the Facebook staff, and all of them were fairly safe, questions. And so it was, sort of people wondered what the benefit was of being able to ask a question if not that many questions were going to be asked, and only the ones that were safe. So it was not a slam dunk either for Obama or for Facebook, this event. And yet it was a unique event in terms of something that had never happened before. And again, I'll say more about that in a minute. Our one to watch this week is a new site called Friends List. Now, if that sounds familiar to or sounds reminiscent of Craigslist, it should, because the idea behind Friends List is that it connects buyers and sellers or people who are looking to hire and people wanting a job, that sort of thing. But instead of just connecting them sort of randomly the way Craigslist does with its classified type listings, Friends List does it by connecting through people that are known mutually. So I might find out that my friend Kelly is selling or knows somebody else who is looking to sell an iPad, and I might hook up with that person because we both know Kelly. So the idea is it's sort of adding the social media component into something like Craigslist, and in all of that, the person in the middle, the sort of mutual friend between two people, doesn't actually have to do anything. They just sort of serve as a connecting point. And Friends List is set up to use your Facebook list, so it doesn't actually require you to create your own profile. Part of the hope behind Friends List is that it's going to reduce some of the anonymity that comes along with Craigslist that has made Craigslist a useful but somewhere in the realm of dangerous to scary service. So keep an eye on Friends List. So just some takeaways from these news items. First of all, Foursquare was seeing with this 3 million check-ins in a day is still showing itself to be the most popular check-in service out there right now. So the takeaway here is it's a great option for letting you do local promotions and things like that. In other words, don't let the existence of Facebook Places or competitors scare you, Foursquare still is something you should be giving your time and attention to if you want to do some local promotions. The takeaway from Obama and the Facebook town hall is that really what this is a huge recognition of the popularity and importance of social media, and really social media's significance as a new medium of communication. This was a unique event in U.S. history, President answering questions via social media, and clearly Obama really showing his importance or his understanding of the importance of social media and his support of Facebook, frankly. So that's something just to keep an eye on as social media grows, more and more culturally popular. And then with Friends List, I think what we're seeing here is just more of social media's effect on commerce. This is sort of following in the line of Groupon and Living Social, Warner Brothers posting movies that you can watch on Facebook, and much more. The takeaway here is just that more and more the social factor is going to be playing into commerce, so that who you know is going to determine in some ways what you want to buy or what you're willing to buy, which I think is going to be having an effect. I won't say fundamentally changing, but definitely having an effect on how we all do business in terms of how we connect with people. So that's the news, and now we'll jump into the focus, straight talk on email marketing and social media. I'm going to talk a little bit about these two topics, and there are a few things that I want to cover. First of all, both social media and email marketing are forms, sort of fall under the umbrella of digital marketing. And so I want to talk about some similarities between the two and some differences, and then really get into the meat of how they can work together in meaningful ways. So first, let me start off with some similarities. The similarities mostly fall within the range of how email marketing and social media are both used and the best practices surrounding them. So first of all, both email marketing and social media are vital tools for business nowadays within the realm of digital marketing. They have become things that you really can't ignore anymore. And that wasn't true for email marketing 15 years ago, though it has been true in recent years. And it wasn't true for social media 3 years ago. But now we're finding more and more companies saying we just can't ignore social media anymore. So now they're both expected to be part of the marketing mix. Neither one of them has the status of being the only thing that most companies do, but they are definitely something that most companies are putting into the mix. Another similarity is that they have a similar perception in the mind of the general public as a regular form of electronic communication. And what I mean by that is that when you're looking to communicate with somebody electronically, you're just about as likely to do it over email as you are over social media to send off a quick message or something like that. Many, if not most people, get Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and other updates sent directly to their email address. And of course, we announced a few months ago, though haven't seen much more on it, that Facebook is intending to start giving all of their users a Facebook.com address. So that's will be another way in which those two things sort of combine under the umbrella of electronic communication. And there are ways, both social media and email marketing are ways that people expect to be in touch not only with other people, but also with companies that they like. It's become an accepted thing to connect with companies that you like and support and whose products you use through email marketing and through social media. And the fact that they are comparable in this way will be important when we talk about how you do combined email marketing and social media promotions. So just sort of hold on to this one. Another similarity, both have had their challenges with privacy. Of course, the 2003 Federal Can Spam Act made spamming over email illegal. That people would go and harvest email addresses from the web and then spam to those, and that has become illegal. Though of course it is still rampant, and it's something along the lines of 80% of all email sent is spam these days still. So opt-ins, getting people to agree to receive your emails is really an absolute best practice when it comes to email marketing, because you don't want to get a bad reputation, which can actually then get you blacklisted in terms of having your email successfully getting into people's inboxes and things like that. And that email marketing blacklist whole concept is worse than most consequences you can face on social media. But social media has its own privacy concerns. Sites like Facebook or LinkedIn have different concerns because while there's not harvesting in the same way, you are putting in much more personal information than you are with an email marketing where you're giving out your email address. So a violation of email privacy means that you start getting junk mail, whereas a violation of Facebook privacy could mean identity theft or something, at its worst. But both are big concerns that have gotten a lot of national attention. Now, email spam is still a much bigger problem and much more widespread than Facebook or Twitter accounts being hacked and hijacked. But both mean that you can contact anyone if you find them. So if there is some hesitancy that companies have to respect about consumers. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. About consumers' willingness to give you your email address or to connect with you via Facebook. There is some hesitancy about that because it does involve some personal information. So that's another way they're similar. And then sort of moving into the realm of best practices, both email marketing and social media have their peak times of day. It's been common wisdom for a few years that Tuesday morning tends to be the best time to send out an e-blast, which actually turns out to be one of the slowest times for social media. Social media is big on the evenings and weekends, particularly Friday and Saturday are the biggest days for social media. And so these are just good things to be aware of as you use them. They're sort of the rules that you need to know in order to then break them, because you will obviously send out e-blasts at times other than Tuesday morning, and you'll post things on social media throughout the week. But they are important to be aware of, especially when you're doing the really important things, the email blasts that really need to be seen, or the Facebook posts that you really want to make sure people have their eyes on. Another similarity, both have some no-no words. For social media, you pretty much can't say anything you wouldn't hear on television, and probably even a little less than that. You may have seen that Chrysler got into a sort of public relations disaster when one of its employees dropped an F-bomb on Twitter, just within the last 3 or 4 weeks. And also social media, there's really a strong emphasis on not doing anything offensive. The trouble with social media, more than email marketing, is that less thought tends to go into what is posted on social media because it's such a quick form of communication. And mistakes on social media can be played off, but it can raise some difficult public relations problems. Email marketing has its own list of words that are no-nos, but the problem there tends to be spam filters and getting past spam filters more than the public perception. Email no-nos are putting things in all caps and certain words that you want to avoid. Both have language standards, is the point I'm trying to make here. But the interesting difference here is that social medias tend to be, the language standards tend to be set by the public, whereas email marketing are really set by the spam filters that are out there. In both cases, the takeaway is that you really need to be careful about what words you use when you're writing either a social media post or an e-blast. And finally, there are some rules of engagement for both of them. Email marketing, again, because of spam filters, insists on a good balance of images and text. You don't want all text, and you definitely don't want all images, which is the sort of email that gets caught by a filter. Social media comes along with character limits, and beyond that, rule of engagement is that you really be adding into a conversation when you post, not just sort of making noise. So they both have their rules of engagement, and again, like with the words that you use and don't use, the standards for e-blasts are really set by the spam filters, and the standards for social media are set by the public. So So I've touched on a couple of differences, and let's look at some other differences that are important to understand. And these sort of have to do with why email marketing and social media exist and how you use them. Those are sort of the primary differences. So first of all, there's a difference just sort of in their overall purpose. Email marketing is more accepted as a sales tool than social media is. Social media is really for building relationships in a way that email marketing is not in the same way. And of course, there is relationship building that you can and should do with email, and there is some selling that you can do via social media, but particularly for social media, as you've heard me say before, overselling is really something that needs to be avoided. It's a no-no. So you want to know what their different purposes are in order to use them most effectively. Because if you are using your social media primarily as a sales tool and trying to build all your relationship over email marketing, there's probably something wrong with your approach there. Another difference is the ability to target. Email is much more targetable. It tends to be much more targetable in terms of your customers. And the reason for that is just that email marketing generally tends for a lot of tends to allow a lot of list segmentation so that you can really target who you're sending things to. Social media tends to be less targetable in terms of your customer base. You pretty much have one group unless you've done something like create multiple Facebook pages, but then you get into other problems there in terms of being able to to moderate all those pages and have people find you effectively. Social media is highly targetable for ads, particularly Facebook and their ads, which is a good reason, as I'll talk more about in a few minutes, for building your email list using Facebook ads. So I'll say more about that in a minute.